All right, today's class is going to be a 30-minute slow flow class focused on hamstring strength and hamstring flexibility. So we're gonna go ahead and start out in a child's pose, just getting into the hips right away. So bring the shins to the floor, knees wide, big toes to touch, extend the arms forward, and take 3 breaths here. Last inhale here. Nice deep exhale. And make your way to downward facing dog. So come forward, tuck all 10 toes under, lift the hips high, release the heels down toward the floor. Take a couple petals of the legs, bending one knee at a time. And then lift both heels high, release both heels to the right, stretching through your left side. Lift both heels high, release both heels to the left, stretching through your right side. Lift both heels high and release both heels toward the floor for a static hold for one more full breath. Inhale, exhale. Look toward the hands, walk the feet to the front of the mat, and then go ahead and bring the big toes to touch, little space between the heels. And we're gonna come right into chair pose. So sit the hips low, lift the arms high, and hold here. Try to look down at the toes, see if we can see the toes out in front of the knees. Take all of your weight back into your heels, so much so that you could wiggle your toes. Take another inhale here. Exhale, hands to heart, come all the way up to a stand. Inhale here. Exhale, mountain pose. Release your hands down toward the floor. Palms face out, fingers reach down. Inhale, both arms up overhead, and then encircle your left wrist with your right hand and go ahead and lean to the right, coming into side moon pose. Inhale, back towards center, and exhale, switch out the grip, lean to the left. Keep your right shoulder in line with your right hip. Inhale, back to center, release the hands, and then exhale, hinging at the hips, coming down with a flat back, reaching through the fingertips, coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. So focusing here on hamstring length, we're gonna take our peace fingers, wrap them around our big toes. Again, if the hamstrings are very tight, come up onto a block for support, because we do wanna work the legs towards straight. So even if it means that you're up here at that height, no worries. If you can come all the way down and wrap the fingers around the big toes, use your arms to increase and deepen the stretch, pulling the elbows off to the side. Crown of the head coming closer to the floor. Take one more breath here. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Come up to a flat back. Hands on the floor, shins or block. And exhale, come back into forward fold. Plant your hands on the floor and then step back into a tabletop position. From tabletop, go ahead and extend the right leg straight out behind you and have all 5 toes pointed toward the floor. Hold here and try, without using your glutes to make the lift, really engage the hamstring and just tap the toes to the floor. And then lift the leg using the strength of the hamstring for 2 more. Lift, lower, lift, lower, and come back to tabletop position and switch it out. Extend that left leg straight out behind, all 5 toes pointed toward the floor. Really engage the hamstring. Instead of just using the glute to lift the leg, use the hamstring and then tap the foot to the floor and lift and lower and 3 and lower for 2 and 1. Come back to tabletop position and come back to downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Now lift the right leg off the floor, all 5 toes pointed down just like we did in tabletop, and then really use the hamstring to lift the leg higher and then lower it and tap it to the floor and lift and lower for 2 and 1 and switch it out. So lift your left leg off the floor, all 5 toes pointed down toward the floor, using your hamstring, keeping your hips in two in one line, lift and lower and lift and lower. And one more, lift and lower. Feel the hamstrings working and warming up. Good, and then look toward come back to downward facing dog, look toward your hands and step or float toward the front of your mat. We're gonna do 3 rounds of sun salutation. So inhale, rise up to tall mountain, breath to movement here. Exhale, forward fold, come all the way back down, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, monkey. Exhale, step or float back through chaturanga. So lowering halfway down, option to lower all the way down onto the belly. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra pose, and exhale, downward facing dog. 1 breath, inhale, exhale, look forward, step or float to the front of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise high, tall mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Monkey, inhale, and chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing dog, inhale, and back to downward facing dog. Exhale, inhale, exhale, and look forward, step or float to the front of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, tall mountain, last round. Exhale, forward fold. Just building a little heat in the body. Inhale, monkey, and exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog on the inhale, downward facing dog on the exhale. Lift the right leg high and step forward, place the right foot between the hands. Come into extended pyramid pose, so keep the left heel off the floor, start to straighten through the right leg. Forward fold over the right leg, take an inhale, exhale. Okay, now bend back into that right leg, get a little bit of momentum here, and we're gonna come into standing splits pose. So stepping onto the right foot, lift that left leg off the floor. If the hamstring's tight, you can always use a block to prop you up. Okay, you can have your hands on a block, you can place them on your shin if you wanna take a little more challenge with your balance, or down on the floor. But as much as possible, try and let your head dangle toward the floor and look back toward your left toes. So with those toes pointed straight down, we're gonna just take a couple of circles of that left foot for 3, 2, 1, and then switch directions for 3, 2, 1. Okay, look forward, take a little bend to that right leg. We're gonna come all the way up to a stand. Okay, we're gonna take the left hand, peace fingers around the left big toe. Now, again, if the hamstrings are tight, this is a great place for a strap, because we're gonna start working that leg towards straight. Okay, so if that means that your leg is down here and you're holding onto a strap, no worries. That's a great place to start. Maybe we start working that leg up, we start walking down the strap. Maybe we have a hold of the big toe, if I can get my balance. Okay, woo. Hold here for another breath. And then extend that right arm to the right and extend the left leg to the left. Come back towards center and release mountain pose. Let's take it through vinyasa. So inhale, both arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Come all the way down. Inhale, monkey pose, halfway lift. And exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step through. Inhale, extended pyramid pose, straighten through the left leg, forward fold over the left leg, right heel stays lifted. Again, if you need a block to prop yourself up, you might be here. That's great. So try to get the leg straight, even if that means that you're more upright, working in the direction of straight. Come back into low lunge. Get a little momentum, and we're gonna step forward, lifting that right leg off the floor. Maybe we're up here in a block. Maybe our hands are around the ankle working on balance. Maybe the hands are on the floor. Now, to the best of your ability, Let the head dangle toward the floor, creating a little extra length in the neck. Right toes are pointing down. So this is called standing splits pose, but for most people, including me, as you can see, the leg isn't straight up in a splits, in a full splits. It might look more like a letter L. So to get the leg a little bit higher, really focus on using that hamstring to lift your heel up. Okay, now with those toes pointed down, take circles in one direction for 3, 2, 1. Take circles in the other direction for 3, 2, 1. Look forward and then come all the way up, reaching that right leg forward. So again, you can place a strap around your foot if the hamstrings are super tight and maybe it looks like this right now. Okay, maybe as you hold the pose, working on balance, and you start to walk your hands up the strap. Maybe you walk your hands towards your foot. Or if possible, you can start with a bent leg. Take your peace fingers around that big toe and start to extend the leg straight. Okay, everybody's different. You're going to be at a different level of flexibility, maybe even from one side to the other. So just work with where you're at right now. Use your props if you have them available. And then of course, always focus on the breath. And then we're going to start to open that leg to the right. Extend the arm to the left. Hold here. And work the leg back towards center. Release mountain pose. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg high. And exhale, step through low lunge. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge, keeping that back heel off the floor. We're just flowing into warrior 2 on the exhale. And then on the inhale, straighten through that right leg. We're preparing ourselves for Trikonasana triangle pose. So this is a great hamstring stretch. Start to hinge forward, reaching those right fingertips forward and then down toward the floor, left arm up. Okay, hamstrings are super tight. You're gonna stay a little more upright. We want to avoid trying to get the hand down on the floor by rolling that left shoulder forward. So again, if you need a block, place the block on the floor. Try not to put all of your weight into your hand, whether it's on the block or a shin or the floor, but use your core to stay lifted. All right, inhale. Exhale, come back to warrior 2. Good. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Forward facing dog on the inhale. And downward facing dog on the exhale. You can always take those out if that's not your focus today, and just hold down dog, working on the hamstring stretch there. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale, step through. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. We're just flowing breath to movement here. Exhale, warrior 2. On the inhale, straighten through that left leg. Okay, start to reach forward, and then left hand is going to come down toward shin, block, or floor. Right arm's going to come up toward the sky. Okay, so if you have a block, you can place it into the inside of your left foot and place your hand on the block. All right, so if you are holding onto the block or resting on the block, try not to rest, all right? So a little bit of support here, but we're not resting our weight. Same goes if your hand is on your shin or on the floor. Keep your head in line with the spine and hold here for another breath. Take an inhale. Exhale, warrior 2. Bend into that front leg, extend the arms long. Good. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, low lunge. Step back plank, inhale. Lower chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, back to downward facing dog. All right, we're just gonna flow that series breath to movement just one time. So take your time, work with the pace of your own breath. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale to crescent, rise up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten through the right leg. Exhale, triangle. Take an inhale and triangle. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, low lunge. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, back to downward facing dog. Right to the other side. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten that left leg. Exhale, triangle pose. Take an inhale and triangle. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look forward, come through to a seat. So take your strap if you have it. Okay, we're going to take Erin pose, which is a little bit of a core strengthener, but it's also a hamstring opener. So if you know that the hamstrings are a little bit tight, go ahead and take your strap and put it around the bottom of the right foot. Okay, so it's going to look like this. If you don't need the strap, what you're going to do is bend your leg, interlace your hands around the bottom of your foot. You're just going to rock your weight back a little bit so your heel lifts off the floor, and then we're going to work toward a straight leg. Again, if the hamstrings are tight and that straight leg looks like this, that's fine. I want you to focus on keeping your chest lifted, keeping your head in line with the spine, and then working the stretch. So maybe you start walking your hands a little bit further up the strap, maybe someday to the toe or the foot. We're going to take this into a twist. So if you have a strap, you're going to take your strap into your left hand. Again, maybe that looks like this for you. That's fine, okay? If you're holding onto the foot, you're going to flip your hand over and take it to the outer edge of the right foot. Extend that right arm to the right. Look back. Last breath. Good. Come back towards center. You're going to increase the core work a little bit, and we're going to come into boat pose. So if you have your strap and want to get a really nice high boat, it's kind of a fun way to get into it. You can take your strap underneath your feet and then reach them up. Again, if you have flexible hamstrings, maybe you come to straight legs. If not, no worries. Maybe you come here, maybe you're here, okay? But the strap, using the support of the strap, allows us to maybe get to a new height, and then from here, you drop the strap, see if you can hold them. My legs are shaking. For 3, and 2, and 1. Good. We're gonna switch sides. So we're gonna bring that right leg to the floor, bent leg, left foot to the floor, strap around the foot, hands around the foot. Your choice, it might be different on this side than the other. Rock your weight back, lift your heel off the floor, maybe extend it. Maybe you stop here today. You don't have a strap, you're holding on to the foot, or if you have a strap and you can get the leg straight, maybe it's just here today. Okay, so we're working in the direction of a straight lifted leg. We're going to take it into a twist. So if you're holding onto a strap, take the strap in your right hand. If you're holding onto your foot, take your right hand, flip it to the outside of the left foot. Extend that left arm to the left. and release. Okay, right back to one more boat pose. Hold here. Lift through that chest for 3 and 2 and 1. Make your way through to downward facing dog. We're going to do a couple more standing postures before we wrap it up. So take another full breath in downward facing dog. Take your right leg high, step through low lunge, and come up to standing staff pose. You might want to take your strap on the way. We're going to come into standing head to knee pose. So if you know what this pose is and you need a strap, go ahead and take that strap underneath your foot like so, okay? If you know you don't need a strap, the first thing we're going to do is start to round our shoulders down so we can reach the bottom of the foot with the hands, okay? So this will either be strap or hands. And then from here, nice strong standing leg working toward a straight leg with a really engaged quad. You're going to start to straighten the leg. Okay, so that might look today like this. It's a great place to start. Just working in the direction of straight. Maybe you have that leg straight and you start lifting it. Okay, the full expression of the pose is to find the knee at the forehead. Release, left foot to the floor. 2 more vinyasas, optional. Inhale, tall mountain. We're just gonna meet back at downward facing dog, forward fold, monkey, and chaturanga. Let's take standing head to knee on the other side. So left leg, inhale, low lunge, exhale. Take a hold of your strap if you know you need it, and come up to standing staff. Starting here, maybe the strap underneath the foot. Okay? Again, maybe this is what it looks like today. That's great. Maybe we're working to the next step and we take the hands around the foot. Maybe we stay here today, working on the strength in the left quad, left hamstring, straight leg. Maybe we take it toward a straight leg. Kicking out, last step, forehead to knee. Slowly come out of it. Last vinyasa, tall mountain. Forward fold, monkey, and chaturanga. And back to downward facing dog. Come through to a seat. We're going to take one seated forward fold before we come back down onto our back. So extend the legs forward. Maybe we utilize our strap here around the feet. We want to keep the nice long spine. So we're going to start hinging forward at the hips. Maybe reaching the hands toward the mat, the shins, maybe toward the feet. Stay nice and active through those quads for 3 more breaths. Release. Then both legs, and make your way down onto your back. We're gonna do bend your legs, take the knees up toward the ceiling, feet flat to the floor. We're gonna do one more hamstring strengthener, hamstring awareness in bridge pose. So bring your hands alongside your body, press into your heels and lift your hips off the floor. All right, so we're just gonna isolate the hamstrings. So I want you to just experiment and feel it in your body. So your glutes or your butt muscles, go ahead and engage them. So you're gonna use your glutes to lift your hips. Your glutes are pretty strong, so you're probably gonna get your hips a little bit higher. Now, as much as you can, release your glutes and then work with your back and your hamstrings to lift and Go ahead and engage your glutes again. It might take your hips a little bit higher. And then lower all the way down onto the floor. Hug your knees into your chest. And then rock your knees to the right for a spinal twist. Extend your arms long into capital T, palms face down, look to the left. Come back through center. Release your knees to the left. Gaze to the right. And come back to center. Option to separate knees and feet, come into happy baby pose. You can massage out the spine if you'd like. And when you're ready, a little hug of the knees into the chest. And making our way to Shavasana. Extend those legs long, let the feet fall open. Arms rest alongside the body, palms face up. Nice deep inhale through the nose, fill all the way up. Let it go through the mouth. Just soften into the breath. Start to deepen into the breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Start to roll the wrists and the ankles. Reach arms overhead, nice long stretch, fingertips to toes. And then make your way onto your side, cradling the head and the arm, pulling the knees into the chest. Take a final moment here to acknowledge your practice. Set an intention for your day. And slowly come up to a seat. Bring hands to your heart. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go through the mouth. Today, as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, peace in your heart. Namaste.